Let him begin with the first question.
And Huzur, this question was asked by a lady after the question and answer session a few days ago.
I see.
Egyptian lady. She
Right.
said,
Where is she? In England?
yes, she lives in Manchester with her husband. And she was asking that we haven't heard of Ahmadiyya before from anyone. And now I became to know about it. I can't sleep before finding out the truth.
Correct.
And what would happen to those people who do not know about Ahmadiyya like me, and they haven't heard about it, and they pass away or die?
This is a very important question which she has asked, and this will be answered, of course, by me. But before this, I would like to remind this lady that this question applies to Islam as such from the very beginning, much more than it applies to us as representatives of Islam. Around 1400 years ago, the Holy Quran was revealed to Muhammad Rasulullah Sallam, addressing the whole of mankind. While for hundreds of years after, one half of this earth was yet unknown to the mankind as such. So the Muslim message, Islamic message could not have reached Americas anywhere. And even after the passage of 14 centuries, there are a very large number of Chinese who never heard of Islam. Or if they have heard of Islam, they have heard of something like aliens, the nature of which they do not know. They have heard of an Islam from critic slips, Chinese critic slips, which give only a one-sided picture which cannot be believed in. And the majority have not even heard. We are now preaching in China, and we know it from personal experience, that in many large areas of China, even today people don't know what Islam is. I mean, they have never heard of it, in fact, because they live in their own world of Chinese Confucius or communist world, and Islam does not mean anything to them. Only they hear when negative propaganda is carried out by the government, and they are not interested in what it is, just passing reference, that's all. Similarly, Buddhist world, it's a huge world which is not only in China but also in Korea, in Sri Lanka, in Tibet, in many parts of India, etc. This world has actually not heard of Islam. A large number of these people in Tibet and elsewhere, they don't know what Islam is. So first of all, I would like to draw the attention of this lady to this fact. The Holy Quran says it is for the whole world. 1400 years have passed, and the majority of the world has not yet heard. Because when we preach also to South America and the old people who once were masters of South American lands, they actually, literally have not heard of Islam. When you talk Islam, they say, what do you mean, Islam? What is it? So what would happen to all these people? So in fact, she should first remember that every Muslim has to answer this question. And I draw her attention to the fact that the Holy Quran has already answered this question. The Holy Quran, speaking of such people who are not Muslims, Islam is mentioned after, but previously it is mentioned that those people who believe and do good deeds accordingly. and believe in the hereafter. La khawfun alayhim. There is no fear for him. And Allah will provide them with full reward of whatever good they do. So in these places, these are the people who are addressed, who have not heard of Islam. And it's no fault of theirs. So they will be treated according to their own individual cases or communal cases. Allah will judge because He knows whatever passes in their hearts. If they are good people among them, good God-fearing people, who also believe in the hereafter and their answerability, then Allah says they do not have to worry about anything. They will be fully rewarded. They have no fear. So if that applies to non-Muslims, why can't it apply to Muslims within Islam who have not heard of Imam Mahdi? Much more powerfully it applies to them. So you shouldn't be worried about this at all. What is? Please. Add to the list of those who haven't heard the name of Islam while they dwell and occupied large continents like Australian Aborigines. They were destroyed by the white men much later. But when Islam was revealed, they still dwelt and occupied the entire continent of Australia. And the Aborigines, very simple-minded people, very honest, very true people. And they were also addressed by the Holy Quran. Never heard of it? And the Red Indians of North America and Canada, they were again unfortunately destroyed by the white people. But much later, much after the Quran was revealed. Previously, they dwelled and occupied the whole of the North American continent, including Canada. And they were there for history unknown. Nobody knows when they came and how they came, and still these scholars are saying things about them. But the point is that they occupied the entire North America in great number. No area was left without them. Where have they gone? They went away, passed to the next world without real knowing that there was a Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the Quran was revealed to them. Then the South American Aborigines, sort of Aborigines, who are still there, who were not destroyed by the white people, because the Southern America was occupied by Spanish people and Portuguese, and they did not follow the policy of the white people from the Northern Europe who occupied the Northern America and Canada. So instead of destroying them altogether, they harnessed them to take work from them with lower cheap labor. So that is why they still exist in very large numbers. I have met some of their leaders and they hadn't heard of Islam. I was amazed. In this world, in this modern time, they had heard of Christianity, but they had not heard of Islam. So all these people are referred to with a definite message to them by the Holy Quran that you do not have to fear. Allah will take your account Himself as He best pleases. Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayat 63. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الذين آمنوا والذين هادوا والنصارى والصابئين من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وعمل صالحا فلهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Imagine. This list does not leave any of the possible groups of people who would be treated kindly by Allah. Amanu evidently refers to the people who believe in Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wallazina hadu, everybody knows who hadu are. Wanaswara, waswabiina. Swabiin is a word for all such people who were led to guidance by a divine book. But that book is no longer there, and we do not have any record of that. But Allah has that track record. So all these people, Aborigines, etc., they were divinely guided once. Man amana billahi wal yawmil akhir wa amila salihan. Whoever of these people believes in Allah, does good deeds, and believe in the hereafter and answerability, yawmil akhir, falahum ajruhum inda rabbihim. Their reward is with Allah, with their Lord. Wala khawfun alayhim wala hum yazunun. Whatever the mullahs say, they should not care a hoot about that. La khawfun alayhim wala hum yazunun. After this, which part of the question is left unanswered? See this? So these are the people about whom I have made research, and I'm still working on that. And I have discovered that the Red Indian did believe in one God, did believe in messengers, did believe in good deeds and answerability. So also the Aborigines of Australia did. But the Western scholars who have written on them, they have written on them with no less courtesy about Islam. All that they have written is false. And because they are big names, big scholars, so people follow them and go on quoting them, I have examined critically their books on Australia, Australian people, and on the Aborigines, like South American Aborigines or North American Red Indians. And I have discovered that their account is absolutely false. What message they deliver through their films, or Western films, to the Western world is completely hocus pocus nonsense. I have evidence from their own books that these are not the Red Indians as they present in their literature. One of their great scholars, a photographer, had done personal work on Red Indians and had traveled far and wide, and his books are available in large number. He wrote a series of books on them. They are still preserved in good libraries, and I have studied some of those books and their gists. It's amazing how close they are to the Quran in parts. Some people, some Aborigines live with one teaching of the Quran, some with another teaching of the Quran, but it was Quran spread all over America. And I can pinpoint the verses which were their guideline. And they were not so unscrupulous people as were fond of killing. They were very responsible people. It was the fault of the whites to destroy them under one excuse or another. They always kept their word, and the whites did not. So on this, I have put an American Ahmadi team to research further, and inshallah this research will be published. So then people will know how beautiful the Quranic teaching is. That all those people who are considered Sabiin, they had a system given to them by God, and Allah will put to put them to account according to what God had given them. Got it?